Hey, I'm Caleb with the Galactic Table, and today we're going to deviate away from the Star Wars galaxy and into another George Lucas franchise of Indiana Jones. I thought it would be really fun to go over my Indiana Jones cosplay and gear because I just recently finished it. I thought it would be fun to go over everything and tell you where I got it. Also, much more than just going over gear and where I got stuff. I wanted to tell the story behind it specifically because this particular cosplay and this outfit actually has a lot of sentimental value and meaning to me personally. So I got some pretty in-depth stories behind some specific items that I want to go over, and this could be a long video, so you want to pause it and get a drink or something, because you're going to get some storytelling in this. The main story, when I was maybe 14 or 15 years old, I put together an Indiana Jones costume, and most of it was pretty screen accurate. I don't remember all of the specific brands and stuff that I had. I remember a lot of it. It was really cool. That was at a time period in my life where it was just a really difficult time. That character just really gave me something to hold on to, and it just really gave me, at that age and that time, something that I really needed at that time. So it was something I held on to tightly. You know, being that age, 15 years old, give it a couple more years in high school, and I was interested in my friends and the ladies and partying and all that kind of stuff and being a cool guy, and I got so caught up in that I lost a bunch of my original gear, and some of it was lost to time or fell into a state of disrepair. There's like one thing I was able to hold on to this whole time, almost 15 years. Now that I am an adult and I have my own children and I am married and settled down and not so concerned about being the cool guy anymore, I went on a quest, so to speak, to reacquire everything, and in also better form than I did before. So we will start with probably the most important part of an Indy costume, the hat, the fedora. So this is a hat from Advintage. By the way, I will include links to everything I got down in the description. I might not remember some specific things here or like their exact name on the internet, but I got a history of all my orders, so I'll be able to get links to everything down in the description. This hat comes from Advintage. It is their Harrison fedora. The Harrison fedora is pretty much their budget option because Thomas in Germany, he does handcrafted hats and out of 100% beaver felt, and oh my god, one of these days I'm gonna get one. But this is 100% rabbit felt, and it's just the budget option. The hat is what started the whole thing. I got my Cad Bane hat. We had a hat day at my job, and I wore this. And for some reason, the thought popped in my head, wow, I wish I still had my Indiana Jones hat because that would be great. And then I got to thinking about it, and I was like, you know what? I should buy a new Indiana Jones hat. So I went on this big quest online to try and find an Indy hat. I don't remember exactly. I think the hat I had when I was 15 was a Christie's. I know it was a Christie's. I don't remember if they call it Christie's Downtowner or a Christie's Adventurer. I don't remember the exact name. It was a Christie's, and which was okay Indy hat. It was alright. It was pretty passable. Definitely not the worst one. Couldn't find them at all. I think I may have found them, but I kind of wanted something better. I was really looking hard at the Akubra Federation 4. I think Akubra sells one too that's like the Akubra just Adventurer or something like that now. And that was the one that kept popping up the most and I kept seeing the most, and it is touted by Indy fans as a really, really great Indy hat. It's touted as being super durable. It could get beat up, you could wear it outside, get rained on, crush it, sit on it. It just holds up really, really good. And so I'm not denying that it didn't look bad. I saw photos of people who had it, and it looked great. But just something about it that I just wasn't vibing with. I don't know what it was. I just wasn't vibing with it. I saw that Herbert Johnson, back then, I don't remember seeing anything about Herbert Johnson. I saw that Herbert Johnson is selling their original Poet now. So I thought about getting that, and long story short, I found Advintage last, but I found Advintage. They looked affordable, and I really liked the way their hats looked. It looked like just what I was looking for, so I went with the Advintage, and it was horrible. And look, I'm very impatient when nothing on Advintage's end was horrible, but I'm very impatient when it comes to ordering things on the internet. I check that tracking habitually, but this became like obsession because I thought I was going to get another fun hat like my Cad Bane hat. I could wear it to another work hat day and it would be fun, but once I had ordered it and saw that it was shipped, it became like this idea of getting a part of myself back, and I was so excited about getting this hat. It had gotten stuck in German customs for a long time, then it got stuck in American customs for a long time before it eventually ended up at my door, so I was tripping for about a month. I felt like I would open it up out of the box and have like an emotional moment, and I sure did, but it wasn't like the moment I was expecting. So I opened it up out of the box. The felt is wonderful. I requested it open crown so I could shape it myself. I wanted to do a Raiders style hat, which I did, and well, I didn't have the emotional moment I was expecting because I put it on my head and it was big enough to go over my ears, which was my mistake when ordering sizes. I think it was like 60.5 centimeters. I'm 57, so that's a big difference. For some reason, when I was just caught up in the excitement of ordering, I was thinking 57 to 60 in centimeters. You know, I'm an American, inches, baby. I was like, that's not much. It won't be that big of a difference. And it was a huge difference. So I was pretty upset that it went over my ears. And I just waited a month for this thing to show up. I could have very easily boxed it back up before shaping it. Sent it back and got a replacement and everything would have been fine. But my brain don't operate like that, okay? I know there's so many people that treat their fedoras and their Indy hats and their high-end fedoras like it's some kind of treasure that belongs in a museum. They get babied and pampered, and you know, they really look into how to take care of nice felt hats. So if you're like that, then you should turn off the video right now because you are going to be absolutely appalled. So what I did was I put some foam underneath the sweatband, and it kind of fit, but it sort of would crinkle the sweatband because it would push it out, and it was pretty uncomfortable, and I still just wasn't happy with that. And so I had this idea of if I could find a way to just bring it in around my head, then maybe I can make it work. And since it's a Raiders hat, you do this front pinch on the side of the hat. The true front of the hat is right here. So this is normally where your pinch would be. But the Raiders hat got turned on Harrison's head, and so the pinch was right here on the side of the hat, which is the new front of the hat. And that, in turn, I could do it with this hat, warped as brim. See, so now this hat has a warped brim. And just by using my fingers, I could kind of squeeze it in, and it gave the brim a nice warp, and I was like, okay, well, I think that'll work. Where the ends of the sweatband met up, I cut that, and I basically just pulled it really tight until it was the right fit around my head, and was able to secure it like that and stitch it. And then that, in turn, left a gap with the felt, so I kind of crinkled up the felt to bring it all back together. As you can see, if you are one of those hat people, you're probably having a coronary right now. I apologize for that. I really hope I'm not inducing any medical issues here with the gasps and the ahs. But the brim is warped from that procedure, yes. but it was not the warped that I wanted. It was so badly warped. It was terrible. And so I was really in a not good emotional state at this point, but I thought maybe I can iron it and iron it flat and everything will be fine. And so I took out an iron, I got some cloth to put over the hat so the iron wouldn't cause any further damage. It just wasn't working at first. And I put the hat down, this is already well beyond the point of sending it back for a return. And so I didn't know what I was going to do, and I was really upset about it and really emotional about it. And I was even thinking about going to Advantage and just spending the money that I don't really have on just a new one that's the correct size. I decided not to. I gave myself a chance to just chill out, put the hat to the side, don't think about it, don't worry about it. Once I started to calm down, I started to think about it, and I thought about this hat, and I had this moment where it kind of occurred to me of, I have to make it work with this hat, not just because it's at the point of I can't return it, but yes, it's a pretty accurate Raiders kind of Streets of Cairo looking hat. But not just that, but anything I do to it after that will be 100% unique to me too. That was an appealing thought. And then not just that, but the whole Indiana Jones thing, the hats, the costume, whatever, aside from all that, was a part of myself that I had put away for a long time. Been through a lot of stuff since then, a lot of good things and a lot of bad things since I put the hat away, so to speak. And so it was like, well, this hat is a lot like me. Well, because of my hand, it has been beat up and battered and unique and strange, but I wanted to rebuild it up, in the calm of my married life in these last few years or so. I've kind of been able to rebuild myself from the ground up, batters and bruises and all. So what I did is I really sat down and from a non-emotional standpoint, I took my time. I was able to iron the brim pretty nicely. It still has quite a big warp right here, but I'm okay with that because I went and there's some photos on indygear.com of the screen used hat, not screenshots, but just all around photos of the actual screen used hat, and the brim is floppy and it is warped and it is weird. That original Raiders hat is a wacky hat, and a lot of my warping is very close to the real thing, and I got the folds and the wrinkles in it right there, but aside from that, the Raiders hat was beat up. I think I'd read that they would sit on it and twist it and stomp it and crush it, and it got turned on his head, and so it really went through the ringer too. And so I was like, you know what? This looks like a hat that's been on adventures. It's unique. It's got a unique story to me. It's got elements of me to it. And once I was done with it, I felt that despite everything, it looks like a really great Indiana Jones Raiders hat, which is exactly what I wanted. And now I wouldn't get rid of the hat for nothing. I wouldn't give it back. I wouldn't trade it for a new one. It is exactly what it should be. And that felt like when I finally got an old part of myself back. I don't know what happened to my original Christie's. It was 15 years ago. I'm sure I stopped wearing it at all at some point, and it probably fell into a state of disrepair, or I don't remember ever giving it away or getting rid of it, but lost to time. So that's the Advantage hat. I still have the idea of buying another one, but not for the sake of replacing it like I had originally thought, but really because while the Raiders style is my favorite style and my preferred style, I really like the Crystal Skull style hat. So I want to get a Crystal Skull hat at some point. I don't know when I'll do it. Probably not anytime soon. So now that we got the fedora out of the way, it has the biggest story behind it, the biggest sentimental story behind it. Since this is an Indiana Jones video, give me a second. So moving on to the jacket. I do use this as casual wear and daily wear. This jacket is from Leather Cult. I bought from them before in the past. They have really good products. The quality and workmanship of this jacket and the leather itself is very nice. Very good quality. The only thing about it that's ever bothered me is it just seems a little too light, and the fact that their distressed leather is actually suede. The Indy jacket isn't a suede jacket. It's distressed leather, yes, but it's not suede. And this is much more of a suede, if that comes across at all. So at some point I would really like to get the Wested Temple of Doom jacket. That's the one I like the most. I like the look of that one the most. But this is a good jacket in the meantime. I think my original jacket was a Todd's costume jacket, which was also a very nice quality jacket. Actually better than this one in my opinion. I remember that one. I had a friend in high school who he wanted to wear it, and for some reason I let him wear it. It got to a point where I hadn't seen it in a long time, and I pushed him about getting it back, and he had a whole story about how his, since it was so beat up and dirty looking, his mom washed it and destroyed it pretty much and threw it away. I don't think any adult mother would see a leather jacket and think that she needs to wash it. I think most adults probably know you don't throw a leather jacket in the washing machine. So he could still be rocking that Indiana Jones jacket out there somewhere. But you know what? If he needed it more than I do at the time, then go ahead. We got the jacket out of the way. Next is shirts. So this here is the Wested leather shirt. Very nice. The epaulets are a little big. I feel like they should be more tight and secure to the shoulders, but they kind of lift up and create some space there, which I'm not crazy about, but it's not a big deal. Aside from that, everything about the shirt is very nice. You can see it's starting to get pretty wrinkly from me wearing it, which is, you know, in the case of an Indy costume, that's a good thing. I do want to keep it relatively nice, because it would be just a good casual shirt to throw over a t-shirt and roll the sleeves up or something, which I have done. I put on a couple pounds in the last 15 years, so this fits great around my gut. Everywhere else is a little bit baggy. If I get myself into shape, I might be able to order a size down, so that's a great shirt. My original one I had back in the day, I think it just, if I remember right, I think it just ended up getting to the point where it was falling apart. I have another shirt here. This was just a really cheap Amazon shirt. Like if you look up Indiana Jones shirt, there should be like a costume one or something. And it's this one, and I use it for my Temple of Doom costume. It's got the whip lashes in the back, which I put fake blood on. It's got some other splashes of fake blood on it in various places. I use some acrylic paint and water to distress it up and even give it some sweat stains, if that's coming across on camera. But yeah, that's my Temple shirt. Not much else to say about that. So the gun belt, I don't remember the brand of the gun belt. I think I'd looked up Indiana Jones belts or something. That's where I got the web belt. And then I think I just came across this one, and it looked close, and it's a nice quality leather belt, and so I ordered that one. Don't remember, but I'll have the order history, and so I'll be able to find it, and I'll be able to link this specific belt in the description. Just a nice leather belt for the gun belt. The whiplash is pretty cool because I made it myself. Just some scrap leather that I had laying around in my shop. It's got the snap on it, saddle stitching right here for the belt loop. I love saddle stitching leather. There's nothing more satisfying on this green earth than saddle stitching some leather, and it's so sturdy. Like, you never rip the stitch apart, but this snap ain't that strong. So if I get my whip caught on something or even adjusted, it'll pop open. That's annoying, but I really like it. I hope it's focusing and not blurry, because the leather in the shop, you can see where it has some natural twists in it. It was just a scrap piece that probably got cut off of another project and ended up shuffled off into a corner of the shop where it had gotten wet and twisted and beat up. So once I put the leather dye on it and then the leather shine finish stuff on there, it gives it just a really nice aged quality, which I really like. Next is the holster, which I also made myself. So it's a little weird for an Indiana Jones holster because it is very much in the same style of the Raiders of the Lost Ark holster, but also very much the color of the Temple of Doom, Last Crusade, Crystal Skull holster. Don't currently have a prop to put in there. I was looking at some of them can get kind of expensive for replica Webleys and stuff, so, or Smith & Wessons, so I don't know, I'll find something to put in there. I need to get something because it's really annoying because when I sit, it wants to fold on me like that and it doesn't look very cool. We loop it onto the belt. I did not end up using these holes because it would have been too tight for my belt. The web belt is nothing special. Came from Amazon, cheap on Amazon. It's a lot more stiff than the ones I remember having back in the day. Back in the day I had this brown one and the khaki colored one. It's just the web belt. Nothing special about that. Nothing too special about the pants either, but the pants are more accurate than the ones I had when I was 15. I think I probably just had some regular brown or khaki slacks. So these are also cheap off of Amazon. Like if you look up Indiana Jones pants, it's going to be like the first option, and I think they're even listed as costume pants. They're actually really comfortable. It's a really lightweight fabric. The back pocket flaps, which I also feel particular about, go off of your real waist measurement. So if you use that, I wear a size 32 off the rack at Walmart, and I had bought a pair supposed to fit size 30 to 34, and there was about a 3-inch gap that I couldn't close on there, so I modified these quite heavily to be able to fit around my dad frame. These have become my Temple of Doom pants with the tear in the knee. The whip, since it's right here and readily available, don't remember the name of it. Again, link will be in the description. It's cheap. It was like 45 bucks. It's a pretty cheap Amazon whip, but to me it looks the part. I could crack it. Aside from that, I just want it to look the part when I'm in the costume. That's it for the whip. This is a bag from What Price Glory. This is their reproduction bag. They do have some genuine World War II gas mask bags available, and they'll sell it with the strap. The reproduction is really good, and this thing is stiff. It's well put together. The only reason I bought a new bag, because, I'll give you a little sneaky peeky, I have my original bag from 15 years ago. It is very beat up. It's been through the ringer, and a lot of its being beaten up was because of me, and I think I weathered it with a cinder block, and so the snaps actually couldn't close anymore. So I think because of that, it prompted me to just go ahead and order a new bag for the new set. It's a cool bag. I love these bags. I can never really think of a reason or an excuse to carry it around with me on a daily basis, but they're great bags. I love the strap that it came with a lot more than my original bag. Quality of this strap, I think, is just much better. And that leads us to the OG bag that I had 15 years ago. You can see it's got a lot more flop. A well-constructed, heavy-duty bag. You might notice it looks pretty weird. There's my original strap. I don't know why I had to buckle so low. It looks a lot more yellow too compared to the new bag. It's just faded over time. While it was still brand new, I just beat it in the dirt with like a cinder block or something. Oh, there's my Temple of Doom hand wrap in there. Keep it in there because this is now my Temple of Doom bag. The snap on this left side won't close at all. But this bag has gone with me on any camping trip I've ever gone on, well, since I got it. Any road trips, any kind of thing like that. This bag has gone with me. The ability to not close the snaps has never really been much of a problem, but it'll make me feel better about it on future camping trips and road trips to have this one that can shut all the way. This one can retire and just have a nice, easy life, being broke out from time to time as the Temple of Doom bag, and specifically the Temple of Doom pyrotechnic stunt bag. When Indy and Malaram are fighting on the bridge and they're fighting over the bag, they have the regular prop in there, and then when it's about to burn, you get just, it's one of those blink and you miss it moments. There's a patch on the front of the pyro bag. I guess it had the pyrotechnics inside of there concealed behind that patch. and then, you know, it burns open and the rocks fall out and stuff. But Joe's Props and Artifacts Tour is the name of his channel. He did this, and he had the dark green on there, and I thought, no way, bro, that's not right, because I was trying to recollect the way that the patch looks, and I don't remember it ever being this dark green. I was like, I don't think that's accurate. I went and I found some screen grabs from it, and after really looking at those screen grabs, I think it really is this dark green. So he had it right to begin with. I was wrong. But a lot of these white splotches I put on here myself. I'll have some of the screen grabs in there as well, so you could see what I was talking about. But it's real splotchy and just kind of dirty, and it looks like it has these white. That's why I put those there. So it's my Temple of Doom bag. There's a part of me, I don't know if I will, but I kind of want to like cut the strap in half and then reattach it with some Velcro. So like if I ever went to a con or anything, you can rip the strap in half and like fight over it with somebody with the stones inside. That would be kind of fun. And last but not least are the boots. These come from Wested Leather as well. These are just their Wested Leather Indiana Jones boots. They're so nice. I remember the boots I had from my original getup. I went to an Army Navy surplus store and I found, I don't know, just some weird pair of boots that they had up there that were actually very close. I do remember the soles were like that yellowy beige khaki color, and they didn't have the toe stitching around here, so I remember taking some kind of sharp instrument and punching holes all the way around and stitching some white fabric on there, and they were pretty close. When I was 15, buying these from Wested was unattainable, you know, as just like a freshman in high school. But just now being able to get these brought something back to me, just because I remember that 15-year-old boy that was looking at these and wishing, you know, and here they are. So that is everything. I film at night right now because I got kids and it's my only quiet time. So in the daylight tomorrow, I'll probably get a shot of all of the gear on so you can actually see it. I also have a Mandalorian cosplay as well, so if you enjoyed this enough, I could do the same thing with my Mando gear, except it'll not really have any stories behind it because it's not as much of a sentimental process and rebuilding, so to speak. Anyways, thanks for watching this video. If you like it, you could subscribe for more, and I'll see you next time. Okay, and there's all the gear together. There's my little cosplayer. It's very hot. I wouldn't want to wander around like this for a long time. Pretty good. I forgot to mention while I was recording all the gear that I am working on another Indiana Jones costume, and it's a completely unique idea. It takes a lot of inspiration from Mystery of the Blues, if you've seen that, but it's going to be a completely unique look that's just a fan look type thing, but it should be pretty cool. So when I'm done with that, I could show you. Anyways, that's it for the costume. I guess maybe I can give y'all like one whip crack, and then we can move on. But this is hot.
I'm dropping the jacket.
Did drop the jacket. There we go. That's it. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you with some more cosplay stuff and some more Star Wars stuff when we get back to Star Wars. We'll have a lot to talk about when Kenobi comes out. See you next time.